in your book, you talk about the term, I think it was like hustler, and then for critical thinking, you used another term that I thought was very
Hacker.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, hacker, because like when
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
first like, what does he mean by hacker? For like hacking the traditional thought process. And as we talk about AI, one of my buddies, Toby, always says the two things that he have made him a ton of money in business that he never learned when he got his business degree were relationship building and critical thinking. And
Yes.
critical thinking is literally becoming a lost art because all anybody wants to say is, I don't know the answer to this. Siri, what does this mean? ChatGPT, what is it? And you literally put it as like one of your top 3 things of like the seasons of how you became successful. So I find it interesting that you think outside the box because you're a martial artist, but you're also literally an artist because you come from a hip hop background and you do music. And I love talking to people because I was a musician. I was a guitar player in a punk rock band.
Ah, okay. Okay.
And one of my business partners is always like, for a while, she couldn't figure me out. One day she was like, now I know why you're so different. She's like, because you were never supposed to be a business guy. Like you fell into it because you had this injury and this stuff, but you have this like tortured artist thing that like shows up in business. But that creativity, has that really been the thing that's allowed you to be a disruptor in the industry? And I guess 2-part question, how much did that creativity help you in business? And does that also translate to creativity on the mats in jiu-jitsu?
Yes, and if I can just go back to where you started this part of the discussion, the hustler part and the hacker part, to me they're equal, right? So the hustler part is you got to know what you're talking about, right? Like, okay, let's take jiu-jitsu, right? If you don't know how to escape from side control, I don't care like how many clever things you've come up with. You're not getting out of side control. You know what I mean? Like you have to work and you have to understand the foundations of whatever it is you're trying to do. And especially if you're someone like me, and if I feel like it's someone like you, where a lot of what you do in business is self-taught. You know, you're just grabbing books and you're looking up on the internet, and you know, you have to be discerning, and then you test this knowledge in the real world, and you see how much of it is correct. And it's like that. Nothing replaces the hard work. Nothing replaces the hard work. However, different is better than better. Like you don't want to be a me too. You don't want to be just like everybody else. And there's no, you know, in the investment world, we say there's no alpha in that, right? You know what I mean? That's like beta. You know, beta is when you just like trade or invest like everyone else. The alpha is where you know something that everyone else doesn't know. And importantly, you have the conviction in your knowledge to act on it, right? The conviction in yourself, like to act on it. And then everyone else makes 2% and you make 7-8%. That's alpha, right? And that's where the hacker part comes in, is like you can't just be like everybody else if you want to, if your goal is to win. If your goal is outsized performance, right? You know, differentiated performance, what are you going to do differently? What are you going to do differently, right? And critical thinking, being clever, being crafty, you know, trying things, being brave, right? These are all part of the recipe. These are all part of the recipe, right? Like there's nobody we would look out there and say that person is like amazing and say they're also just like everybody else.
Yeah.
You know, there's nobody like that. Everybody who has ascended to the top of their particular game, they have signatures about the way that they do what they do. You know what I mean? There's something special about the way they do what they do. And I was just trying to sort of distill that differentiation into the concept of a hacker.